Hey guys, Chris the Ultimate Recycler. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another Can We Save It from the Floodwater video. A lot of my other projects have had to be on hold because we've had some pretty major floods around here and I'm trying to save some e-waste from being thrown out. I've recently just completed successfully repairing a Makita job site radio and it's still going well. This video is about this TV. It came from our friend's house. We went down to help them. Their entire house was flooded. This was about to be thrown in the skip. I think you can see the level of the flood water across there. I don't think the remote actually went under, but it was about to be thrown out, probably be claimed on insurance. I said, hey, hang on, let's see if we can save that. I don't know if I can. I haven't attempted a flooded TV repair before. Let's pull it apart, see what we find, see if we can fix it, see if we can save it from being thrown out. Fingers crossed, let's have a look. Okay, from this angle you can clearly see where the floodwater's got to. I think it was on a cupboard that tipped over, so it didn't get completely submerged, but there's clearly some part of the TV that's been underwater. It's a Hisense 39P4, I think it is. So I think that's a 39-inch. It's a smart TV. From what I can see online, it's this one's probably about 3 or 4 years old, and they retailed at around about $500, I think. So it's not a hugely expensive TV, but you know, it's all about saving stuff if we can, and it's certainly got some use and plenty of life left in it as far as the model goes if we can get it to work. So first step really will be just to lay it flat on the screen. We'll pull the back off it and we'll sort of make things up as we go. Okay, let's start by taking the feet off so they can lie flat on the bench. And now simply we've got to remove the back cover. Hopefully we don't find any bad corrosion. It has been about a week, and if you're going to repair floodwater stuff, you cannot leave it too long because it will continue to be damaged. There's probably still a bit of water in here. Now let's see what we can find. Oh, it looks nice and clean. Actually, I don't think the main board has even been underwater, which is excellent. The speakers, one side speaker would have been, I don't remember which side, I think it's this, yeah, there's the flood line across there. So this side would have been under. I think more the trouble we're going to have with this is that water would have got in between all the various panels in front of the LCD screen, and it would have wet some of the backlights. Oh, actually it has been across the corner of the main board there. So we're going to have to wash that out too. I'm just going to have to dismantle a lot of stuff first before we decide what we're going to clean. Okay, so I'm just going to start unplugging everything, and I am obviously filming this, and the good thing about filming it all is that I'll have a good reference in case I forget where any of the wires go and how all the wiring is stuck down when I have to put it back together. Now the speakers could be an issue. Okay, they just pull out. Now I think that's a paper cone, but it should dry all right. It's a bit hard to tell if it's paper or not. The foam is clearly still wet. I don't want to necessarily submerge this in water again, but I wonder if they come apart. There could even be water still in that. Yeah, there's a drop come out. So we might have to try and prise that apart and see if we can dry it out properly. Okay, we've got as much off the back as we can, and I'm going to leave these boards attached and just bend them back a little bit. We should be able to unclip the front plastic surround, and I think I might even turn it over. I might even put it upside down now and try and unclip the surround to get the screen segments off. I'm sure we're going to have to take all the screen apart because there will be water between the panels, I would imagine. So I don't know, we're just experimenting as we go. Let's see what happens. Okay, so I've unclipped the surround and it's pretty easy to do. You've just got to have a very fine screwdriver and just gently pry and it will unclip. There were 7 mini screws along the bottom that you had to get out. But it came off quite well. I decided then to turn the TV right over, as you can see here. So that will leave the LCD glass part of the screen resting safely on the table. They're very delicate, so you've got to be careful with those. And the plan here is to lift the TV off that screen, which you can see there. So it lifted up quite well, and then we had to approach the situation. Yep, well, as I expected, there is water between the sheets. You can see the different colours. So the main LCD screen is on the base there. We're getting super reflection. It looks pretty good. It doesn't actually look, although it's cracked. Bugger. Okay guys, I'm going to call this one a fail and not go any further. What I've just discovered is that the screen has some cracks. I'm not sure if we're going to get a focus there. It seems, there we go. It was focusing on the reflection. Now, I'm not sure if I did that getting it out. I thought I was very gentle, although I have noticed if we flip it over, these screens are so delicate that that is the corner which had obviously fallen in the flood. So maybe it got a belt on that corner and cracked before I even started. I'm not sure, but they are so thin and delicate that if you pick them up with any sort of flex, they'll just about crack. I think you're supposed to use suction cups on them when you are actually working on them in a professional capacity. So given that the screen's cracked, the TV is not worth fixing. The other issue, as I pointed out, was this moisture. It's between the layers, and it's still wet. And I actually just tried to get one of these layers out, and it's actually kind of stained. Look, I guess you could clean them up, but you would have to have it so pristine when you put it back together without the slightest fingerprint. Otherwise, I would imagine it would show up as a bit of a blur on your screen. So dealing with these sort of things are definitely not a DIY thing. I think it's just too complicated for the price of the TV to worry about. You can see the moisture tracking back. So I'm not going to worry with this one. Well, I'm not now that the screen's cracked, but even if the screen wasn't cracked, I think we would have had a hell of a job trying to get it clean enough to actually work. The other thing to consider if you have a TV that's flood damaged, if it hasn't gone completely under, you may be able to salvage the main board. Now this one, as we worked out, did have some water across it, so I'm not going to sell it, even though it may be working. But I did see on eBay that some of these main boards are selling for $60, $70. And this particular TV only has the one board. It doesn't have a separate T-Con board or anything. And even though it looks okay, because it's partially been submerged, and I think it was that bottom corner, I can't confidently sell it as a going main board, and I don't really have a way of testing it because I'm not going to put this TV back together to even try and plug it in. So there we go. It's what turned out to be a possible rescue has been a fail. And as I said, even apart from the damage to the screen, I don't think it's worth trying to salvage a modern LCD TV from being in floodwater because the moisture has got in. If the screen was totally waterproof and sealed, I think the electronics would clean up fine. But anyway, this has now turned into a scrapping exercise. So I'm not going to take these screens out. I don't have a use for them. I have taken the fingerboards off, which will sell as mid-grade boards. And of course the main board as well, once we just take the plastic brackets off, will also sell as a mid-grade board. So I'll get some return from that. They will be recycled. The wiring of course can be sold. I'll keep the little hardware bits, but I will just reassemble it enough so that I can take it to the transfer station, and the plastic and glass and the rest of the TV hopefully will be recycled through the e-waste stream. So there we go. Not a fail, but at least we've learned. Well, it was a fail, but at least we've learned something. Okay, so let's finish this video up. I have the TV assembled with basically just put the covers on just so that it can go out to the transfer station. I've kept the only bits of any value as far as a scrap is concerned. There's a little bit of the ribbon wire which can be sold, same with the normal insulated wire, and a bit finer stuff that I normally put in a box for with data cable. A little bit of hardware which I'll put in a jar, a piece of aluminium which was off the main board, that was a heatsink. Those plastic pieces probably should have gone back in the TV, but they'll just go in the rubbish bin. A little bit of just the plugs and sockets, and a little board thing here with no value, so that'll go in the e-waste bucket that I have here. And the only other thing of value, or the only thing of any value at all, other than a little bit of wire, is the mid-grade boards. Now the finger strip boards can go as mid-grade. This one is marginal. It has got a big chip on it and a few other ICs and various components that are okay. It's also got a bit of dead weight with the plugs and the transformer. It's an incorporated power board as well. It would be marginal to go as a mid-grade here in Australia. I think you call them peripheral boards in the States. I think we'd get away with that. Ewaste Ben, if you're watching, just cast your comment on it. I think Ben would take them in a large assortment of other boards, some of which are going to be better. I think if you had a whole load of just these, it would be very marginal. But anyway, I think we'll get away with mid-grade on that. So that pile there weighs about 1/3 of a kilo at only about $1.80 a kilo. We're looking at about 60 cents. Probably only a couple of cents in the wire. One little bit of aluminium that wouldn't barely even register. So you can see from a scrapper's point of view, these LCD TVs are just not worth picking up. If you had one that's flood damaged, or you see one on the street, if you're out street scrapping, don't pick it up to be scrapped out. It's just not worth the effort. Send it to an electronics recycler. People that take e-waste, they will get some probably a bit better benefit than we can out of this, and they will have a way of recycling the screens and the plastic. So thanks for watching this, guys. It was a repair job that was a fail, but like anything you attempt and anything you try, a fail doesn't mean a waste of time. A fail means you learn something. So it's always worth having a go at repairing stuff, and if you've never done it before, you're guaranteed to learn something. And even if you've done it before and something goes wrong, you will learn something. It's all experience. So thanks for watching. We didn't quite save the TV, but at least we can sort stuff now to go into the recycling stream, and it won't just go in the rubbish skip to end up in landfill. So, all right, we'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.